Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends and fellow dreamer, you do not need a classroom, you do not need a degree, you need hunger. That's it. Hunger to grow. Hunger to know more than you knew yesterday. That's where change begins. Real education is not limited to schools. It begins when you choose to learn something new every day. This is the kind of education that transforms you, not the kind that fills your shelves with certificates, but the one that shapes your mind and sharpens your soul. When you wake up in the morning, you have two choices: repeat what you already know or expand who you are by adding even a tiny piece of new knowledge. Most people stop learning after school ends, and that is the real tragedy, not because they cannot, but because they think they do not have to anymore. Think about this. The world around you is changing every moment. New ideas are born. Old truths are challenged. If you are not learning, you are not just standing still, you are falling behind. Every day you do not learn, you are choosing to be outdated, mentally tired, and emotionally unprepared for life. Learning is not about solving math problems or memorizing definitions. It is about staying awake. Awake to your thoughts, your reactions, your mistakes, and your beliefs. It is about paying attention to life as it happens and asking, what can I learn from this? And you do not need fancy tools or a lot of money. You have your phone. You have people around you. You have nature, art, conversations, podcasts, even your own journal. One sentence from a book can change how you view your past. One story from a stranger can shift how you handle your problems. One quiet moment with yourself can reveal a truth you have been ignoring. This is education. Raw, personal, and life-changing. Educating yourself every day also builds your self-worth. It tells your brain, you matter enough to grow. It says you are not done yet. And that message repeated daily becomes your mindset. You begin to expect more from yourself. You become more aware, more confident, and surprisingly, more humble. Because the more you know, the more you realize how much you still don't know. And that humility is powerful. Now imagine what happens when you do this for a year. 365 days of choosing to grow. Not big leaps every day, just small steps. One new word, one new fact, one better reaction, one improved habit. Do that for a year, and you are no longer the same person. Your brain becomes sharper. Your heart becomes softer. Your presence becomes stronger. That is the reward of educating yourself every day. It is not always easy. Some days you feel tired. Some days you feel like you are not learning fast enough. But growth is never loud. It is quiet, like a seed breaking under the soil. You cannot see it, but one day you will bloom in ways even you did not expect. So do not measure your learning in speed. Measure it in direction. As long as you are moving forward, even slowly, you are learning. Make this a habit. Make it sacred. When you give your mind something new every day, you are giving your future a stronger foundation. So when the storms come, and they will, you will not break. You will bend, learn from the wind, and rise wiser than before. Learn from pain, failure, and rejection. They are your best teachers. These three experiences, though bitter in taste, leave the deepest lessons in our hearts. Most people run from them. They label them as signs of weakness or bad luck. But the truth is, nothing shapes a person like the ache of falling and the strength it takes to stand back up. Pain is not your enemy, it is a mirror. It shows you who you are when the masks fall away. It reveals your triggers, your limits, and your hidden strength. Pain stretches your heart until it can hold more compassion, not just for others, but for yourself too. Failure is often misunderstood. Society celebrates success so loudly that we forget how quietly failure teaches. When you fail, something incredible happens. Clarity. Suddenly you see what mattered and what did not. You realize the mistakes you made were not the end, but just a crooked sign pointing you in a better direction. Every successful person has failed, many times, but they chose to fail forward. They let failure become the soil where their future grew, not the grave where their dreams were buried. You cannot grow without it. If you never fail, you never risked enough, tried enough, or cared enough. Then there is rejection, the one that cuts the deepest, being told you are not good enough by someone, by a job, by the world, hurts in ways that words cannot explain. But what if rejection was not the end of your story? What if it was divine protection in disguise? Many times, the door that shut on your face was not meant for you to enter in the first place. Rejection redirects, it realigns, it tells you, this is not your place, go build your own. And while it may hurt in the moment, over time, you start to see the pattern that every rejection made room for something better. Now imagine if you embraced pain, failure, and rejection like lessons instead of punishments. What if you stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And started asking, what is this teaching me? That one shift in mindset changes your entire relationship with life. You are no longer a victim of your story. You become a student of your journey. You learn to sit with pain and not rush to fix it. You learn to hold space for your failures without letting them define you. You learn to walk through rejection without questioning your worth. When you make pain your teacher, it softens you. You stop judging people so quickly. You begin to understand that everyone is carrying something. When you let failure guide you, you become fearless. You try again, not because you are sure you will win, but because you know you will grow. And when you stop fearing rejection, you start standing up for yourself more. You apply again. You speak up. You dream louder. Because you realize that rejection is just redirection, not a reflection of your value. This kind of learning cannot be taught in classrooms. No one can hand it to you. You must live it. You must feel your knees hit the ground. You must cry, fall apart, question everything, and then choose to rise. Choose to rise again and again. That choice, made silently and repeatedly, is education in its rawest form. It does not give you certificates. It gives you wisdom. It gives you strength that does not shake. It gives you stories that carry weight. And most importantly, it gives you the kind of growth that cannot be undone. Do not just learn facts, learn values, learn empathy, learn resilience. Facts will help you pass exams, but values will help you pass through life. It is easy to fill your mind with information, to remember dates, formulas, and definitions, but it is much harder to build a heart that understands compassion, patience, honesty, and strength in the face of chaos. True education is not about what you know, it is about who you become because of what you know. Learning values means learning how to live with others, how to respect differences, how to carry kindness in conversations, and how to choose integrity even when no one is watching. Empathy cannot be memorized, it must be felt. It begins when you stop looking at life only through your own eyes and start imagining what it must feel like to be someone else. When you listen to someone without preparing your reply, when you comfort someone without trying to fix them, when you admit that you do not fully understand their pain, but you want to stand with them anyway, that is empathy. And this quality, this ability to understand without judging, to care without controlling, is what makes us human in the best way. You can be the smartest person in the room, but if you lack empathy, your knowledge builds walls instead of bridges. Resilience is another lesson you do not get from textbooks. It comes from life knocking you down, and you choosing to stand up anyway. It is the strength to continue when everything says you should quit. It is the calm that appears after the storm has taken everything. Resilience is not loud, it is not proud. It is often invisible. It looks like showing up when you are tired, trying again after you fail, smiling when you want to scream. It is choosing hope again and again, even when the future feels uncertain. And the more resilient you become, the more unstoppable your learning becomes. Because you will no longer be afraid of falling. You will know how to rise. In school you are taught what to think. In life you must learn how to think. Learning values helps you navigate difficult choices. It helps you draw lines that protect your peace. It teaches you to say no with respect, to say yes with responsibility, to apologize without shame, and to forgive without forgetting your worth. These are not lessons you find in curriculum guides. These are life lessons that often come through pain, reflection, and the willingness to grow beyond your comfort. Learning values means understanding that success is not about how much you earn, but how much you give. It means measuring growth not just by achievements, but by the way you treat people when you have nothing to gain. It means looking beyond appearances and titles, and seeing people for their character. This kind of learning stays with you. It becomes part of how you speak, how you think, how you walk into rooms. You carry it with you, and others feel it. Empathy and resilience together form a kind of strength that facts alone can never provide. Because life will not just test your memory, it will test your heart. It will test your patience, your courage, your ability to stay kind when you are hurting. And in those moments, it is not facts that save you. It is the values you have built inside you. It is your ability to feel deeply, to endure quietly, and to keep showing up for others and for yourself, even when everything feels heavy. That is what makes your learning meaningful, lasting, and alive. Question everything, but with humility, not arrogance. Asking questions is a sign of intelligence, of curiosity, of a mind that is awake and searching. But the way you ask, the spirit behind the question, that is what reveals your character. When you question with humility, you are not trying to prove someone wrong or sound clever. You are simply trying to understand. You are acknowledging that you do not know everything and that you are open to learning. This attitude turns every question into a doorway, a passage to deeper insight and more meaningful growth. Arrogant questioning, on the other hand, shuts doors. It comes with a tone of judgment, with an intent to dominate or humiliate. It stops conversations instead of starting them. But humble questioning invites dialogue. It says, I want to understand your point of view, not, let me show you why you're wrong. That difference changes everything. Humble questions make people feel safe to speak, to share, and to think. They encourage learning on both sides. Some of the wisest people in history were not those who gave all the answers, but those who asked the right questions. Socrates built his entire philosophy on questions. The most transformative inventions and ideas came from someone daring to ask, why not, or what if? Progress does not come from silence. It comes from the courage to wonder aloud. Even if your voice shakes, even if your question challenges tradition or power. When you question everything with humility, you begin to see the world more clearly. You do not take things at face value. You do not blindly follow the crowd. You examine beliefs, traditions, rules, even your own thinking. You ask, why do I believe this? Or where did this idea come from? You learn to separate truth from noise, wisdom from opinion, and values from habits. You stop living on autopilot. You start living with intention. But this kind of questioning takes courage. It means being okay with not having all the answers. It means being willing to be wrong. It means sometimes discovering truths that are uncomfortable. But that is where real learning lies, in the discomfort, in the unknown, in the space between what you thought was true and what you are just beginning to understand. Questioning with humility also means listening to the answers, not just waiting for your turn to speak or planning your next argument, but truly absorbing what the other person is saying. It means asking follow-up questions, not to trap someone, but to dive deeper. It means showing respect for different viewpoints, even when you disagree. And sometimes it means changing your mind. A humble learner is not afraid of being corrected. They are grateful for it, because they know that every correction is a step forward, a sign of growth. They do not tie their self-worth to being right. They tie it to becoming better. That shift makes all the difference. You no longer see learning as a competition, but as a journey. You are not climbing a ladder to beat others. You are walking a path to understand more of the world and your place in it. Even when you question your own thoughts, do it gently. Do not tear yourself apart. Ask yourself with kindness, why do I feel this way? What triggered this thought? What can I learn from this emotion? These questions create space between your reaction and your response. They turn your inner world into a place of reflection instead of judgment. When questioning becomes a habit, learning never stops. Every situation becomes a teacher, every conversation, an opportunity, and every moment, no matter how small, holds the possibility of new wisdom. But only if you are willing to ask, willing to listen, and willing to grow. Reading is like breathing for the mind. Make it your daily habit. Every page you turn adds a little more depth to your understanding, a little more clarity to your thoughts, and a little more color to the gray areas of life. Reading does not just teach you facts, it teaches you how to feel, how to imagine, how to pause and think in a world obsessed with speed. Reading invites you to slow down and be present. It gives you time to sit with ideas, to reflect, and to grow in ways that scrolling can never offer. When you read daily, you are feeding your mind just like food feeds your body. You do not always notice the difference in a day, but over time your thinking sharpens. Your vocabulary expands. You start speaking with more weight, more calm, and more awareness. You become someone who not only knows what to say, but knows when to stay silent. Books do that. They give you a kind of quiet power. You do not need to read for hours. Even 10 minutes a day builds a habit. Start small, a page a day, a paragraph, a quote. Let reading find a natural place in your routine, like morning coffee or evening walks, and read what speaks to you. It does not have to be deep philosophy or heavy novels. It can be poetry, memoirs, short stories, articles, even children's books. The goal is not to impress others with what you read, it is to impress your own soul with what you discover. There is something magical about holding a book in your hands. The feel of the paper, the turning of the page, the gentle weight of it, it slows you down in the best way. In that moment, the noise of the world dims. It is just you and the words. And those words have the power to change your mood, shift your perspective, and sometimes heal parts of you that even people could not reach. Reading also strengthens empathy. When you step into a character's life, when you feel their pain, their joy, their hopes, you begin to understand lives that are nothing like yours. This understanding makes you kinder. It softens your judgments. It breaks your biases without shouting, and it builds emotional intelligence, the kind you will never get from surface-level conversations or viral videos. In times of loneliness, books become companions. In moments of confusion, they become guides. In days of hopelessness, they whisper strength. You begin to carry their voices in your own, and slowly you begin to change the way you speak, the way you think, and the way you live. A good book stays with you. Its lines echo when you least expect them. They appear in your thoughts, in your decisions, in the quiet corners of your day. Reading also teaches patience. You cannot rush a book. You have to stay with it, turn each page, and give it time. That very practice of waiting, of returning, of continuing, is what builds the discipline you need in other areas of life too. It teaches you that progress is not about speed but consistency. In a world where content is fast, loud, and fleeting, reading offers depth. It demands nothing but your presence. And in return, it gives you everything: knowledge, imagination, focus, and sometimes even escape. When you make reading a habit, you are not just learning, you are transforming. Your inner world becomes richer. Your outer world becomes more manageable. And no matter how chaotic life gets, you always have a place to return to, a page, a sentence, a line that feels like home. Stay curious. Curiosity is the fuel of education. It is that little spark inside you that keeps asking, why? Even when the world is content with because. It is the part of you that refuses to settle, that always wants to dig deeper, to understand better, to uncover what lies beneath the surface. Curiosity is what separates a stagnant mind from a growing one. It keeps your thoughts alive, your heart open, and your journey moving forward. The moment you stop being curious is the moment you start becoming blind to all the miracles happening right in front of you. Children are naturally curious. They touch everything, ask endless questions, and challenge every answer. Somewhere along the way, most people lose that fire. They are taught to memorize, not to question. They are praised for knowing the answer, not for exploring the unknown. But the truth is, curiosity is not just for children. It is the secret ingredient of every great thinker, every innovator, every artist, and every wise soul. It is the force behind discovery, behind creativity, behind real learning. If you can keep your curiosity alive, you will never run out of things to learn. Curiosity opens doors that logic alone cannot. It makes you brave enough to explore things that might not make sense at first. It makes you ask difficult questions, not to prove someone wrong, but to grow deeper into truth. When you stay curious, you remain a student of life. You are not afraid to say, I do not know. Instead you say, let me find out. That shift in mindset builds a bridge between ignorance and wisdom. Some of the most powerful life lessons do not come from textbooks or classrooms. They come from asking the right questions at the right time. Why do people behave this way? What triggers this reaction in me? What happens if I try something different? These questions stretch your perspective. They help you understand yourself and others. They give you the courage to step out of routines and try new paths, even when you are unsure where they lead. Curiosity also teaches humility. When you are curious, you understand that no matter how much you know, there is always more to learn. You stop pretending to have all the answers. You start listening more and talking less. You become open to new ideas, even if they challenge your beliefs. You become a seeker instead of a preacher. And in that space, learning becomes effortless. You do not need to chase curiosity with big steps. It can start small. Google something random. Read about a culture you know nothing about. Ask someone how their day really went. Watch a documentary on a topic you have never explored. Let your mind wander, not in distraction but in direction. Be intentional about following what intrigues you. Even boredom can be an invitation, an empty space asking you to fill it with wonder. When you are curious, the world becomes your classroom. Every person becomes a potential teacher. Every conversation becomes a chance to learn. Every moment becomes meaningful. Curiosity helps you find beauty in the ordinary and wisdom in the unexpected. It keeps your soul young. It pushes you beyond the borders of what you already know and leads you into a world of endless possibilities. The best part about curiosity is that it is contagious. When you live with wonder in your eyes, others begin to question too. Your energy invites exploration. Your presence becomes a reminder that life is too big to be lived in autopilot. Stay curious, and you stay alive in the truest sense. Because as long as you keep asking, you keep growing. And as long as you keep growing, life never becomes dull or meaningless. Talk less, observe more. That's how you learn deeply. Words are powerful, but silence has its own kind of wisdom. In a world where everyone is rushing to speak, to post, to comment, the ability to step back and watch quietly becomes a rare gift. When you observe more than you speak, you begin to see the layers in everything. People's faces, their tone, their pauses, even the silence between their words. You begin to notice what is not being said, and often that is where the real truth lies. Speaking may express what you know, but observing reveals what you do not. People often speak to be heard, not to understand. But observation is different. It demands patience, attention, and humility. It means you are willing to be a student, instead of trying to always be the teacher. You watch how people behave, not just when they are trying to impress you, but when they think no one's looking. You notice how emotions rise and fall. You start connecting patterns, seeing what others miss. This kind of learning is quiet, but powerful. It helps you make sense of the world without needing it to shout at you. When you talk less, you give yourself space to process. Instead of reacting, you reflect. Instead of rushing to respond, you pause. And in that pause, wisdom enters. Most mistakes are made in haste, in the need to defend, to impress, to prove a point. But when you observe, you see through the noise. You hear the emotion behind the anger. You see the insecurity behind the pride. You feel the fear behind the silence. And that understanding is what makes you wise, not just smart. Observation also builds emotional intelligence. You learn how to read people, not to judge, but to connect. You become more aware of your own responses too. You start asking, why did that upset me? Or what was I really feeling in that moment? You stop reacting to every trigger. You start understanding your own patterns. This kind of learning is deep. It transforms not just how you see the world, but how you live in it. Talking less does not mean being silent all the time. It means being intentional with your words. It means speaking when your words are needed, not when your ego is loud. It means listening, not just to reply, but to truly understand. It means you value presence over performance. You begin to realize that most wisdom comes in the quiet moments, the ones where you are just sitting, watching, feeling, without trying to control or explain anything. Every great learner is a great observer. Artists watch the world with different eyes. Writers capture emotions others skip past. Healers feel what others ignore. And leaders, the real ones, listen more than they talk. Because they understand that the more you observe, the better decisions you make. You catch the subtle signs. You avoid the loud traps. You see the truth, even when it's hidden behind a smile or buried in a silence. You do not need to be in a classroom to practice this. The world is always teaching. Watch how a tree bends in the wind. Watch how a child reacts when their toy breaks. Watch how people respond to kindness, to pressure, to freedom. Watch yourself, how you speak, when you interrupt, what you assume. This kind of watching is not passive. It is active. It is alive. It is a skill. And like any skill, it grows with practice. When you talk less and observe more, you start hearing the unspoken, seeing the invisible, and learning what cannot be taught. Teach what you learn. It multiplies your understanding. The moment you explain something to someone else, you begin to see it more clearly yourself. Teaching is not just about passing on knowledge. It is about transforming what you have learned into something that can serve others. It forces you to go beyond surface level understanding. You can memorize something and still forget it, but when you teach it, your brain begins to connect the dots differently. You start asking, how can I make this simple for someone else? And in doing so, you begin to understand it on a deeper level. Teaching does not need a classroom or a microphone. It can happen in a conversation, a text, a kind reminder, a social media post, a quiet moment with a friend. You do not need a degree to share what you know. You only need the willingness to give. Every time you teach, you are helping someone else shorten their path. You are lighting a candle that can guide another person through something you once had to walk through alone. There is a strange beauty in this exchange. When you teach with humility, without pride or ego, people feel it. They are not just receiving your words, they are feeling your intention. They begin to trust, not just what you say, but who you are. And when that happens, learning becomes two-way. You give, and you receive. You speak, and you grow. Teaching is not a one-directional act. It is a cycle of giving and evolving, both at once. When you teach someone, you become more aware of your own gaps. You might realize that you thought you understood something, but as soon as you try to explain it, it starts to unravel. That moment is a gift. It means there is still more to explore, more to learn. And when you go back, fill those gaps, and try again, you level up. Not just in skill, but in confidence. Because now you are not just holding information, you are shaping it into something useful. Teaching also builds empathy. You begin to see where others are struggling, and you remember what that felt like. You slow down. You listen more. You speak with clarity and care. You stop trying to impress and start trying to impact. That shift changes everything. People remember how you made them feel far more than what you taught them. When you teach from a place of kindness, your lessons go further than words. They become memories. You also start recognizing that not everyone learns the same way. Some need visuals, others need repetition. Some need silence, others need discussion. And this awareness makes you not only a better teacher, but a better human. You stop expecting people to think like you. You start appreciating different ways of understanding the world. That broadens your own perspective and deepens your respect for others. In teaching, you also create legacy. You leave a piece of yourself behind in someone else's growth. You pass forward the lessons that shaped you, the mistakes that taught you, the truths that freed you. And that becomes part of your purpose, not just to grow for yourself, but to help others grow too. Your knowledge becomes a seed planted in someone else's soil. You may never see the full tree grow, but your contribution lives on. Every time you learn something, ask yourself, who else could benefit from this? And then find a way to share it. It does not have to be perfect, it just has to be honest. That honesty creates connection, and connection creates change. The more you teach, the more you discover how much you still have to learn, and that hunger keeps you alive. Teaching is not the end of learning. It is the beginning of deeper understanding. It is where your growth becomes someone else's light.